Hey, what's up, everyone? Ralph here. So, if you're someone that's struggling with their finances, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck, um, and you're out there looking for advice on how to get things organized and how to get your finances in order. One thing that you hear a lot of people say is, depending on who you're listening to, is they like, all right, you have a spending problem, right? You need to live within your means. You need to spend less than you make, right? And you'll even on my channel, like some of the videos that I have, like you'll even hear me talk about those same thing. But another thing that I also talk about is like, instead of like learning how to live within your means, you should also figure out how to increase it. And when I say increase it, I'm talking about your income, right? Because it's easy to just say, you know what, all right, live within your means, spend less than you make, right? These are things that you should always figure out how to do, regardless of how much money you make. Whatever your income is, you should always be trying to figure out how to spend less than you make. But I think a focus for a lot of people is like, you need to focus on your income, especially during these times. Like maybe let's say you do have your finances in order, right? That you're spending less than you make, but especially with the economy the way it is, inflation being what it is, it's still hard to keep pace with the cost of goods, right? So I think for a lot of people, I think the focus should also be figuring out how to increase your means, which is make sure increase your income. So that's why in this video, this is what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about some strategies on how to increase your means, right? And I have three of those, three strategies, right? One of them is personal development, right? Slash continuous learning, right? The second one is entrepreneurship slash side hustles. And third is financial literacy and investment. Right. And I'm going to break each one of them down. So let's start with personal development. Right. I think one of the most important things is like, especially during these times, is like, you have to, how do you deal with the personal development, right? You have to acquire new skills, right? I think for a lot of people, you may work at your job, right? And you have to rely on 3% salary. Like you say you want some more money at your job, but the only thing you can really do is like just wait every year for that 3% increase, right? And that's just not going to cut it, especially the way inflation is. So if you're going to command, if you think you're someone that's not getting paid, feel like you're not getting paid enough at your job, then what you need to do is like figure out how to acquire new skills so you can command the salary that you want. Because maybe you have a job where whatever you're doing just doesn't really command a high salary. Because a lot of people like to say, "Oh man, my job doesn't pay me enough." But maybe what it is there's a skill gap, right? You need to acquire more skills so you can maybe say, you know what, find a job that's gonna garner you that higher wage. And I think acquiring skills is very, very important, especially if you're a college student, right? I think about college, right? College is one of the biggest scams that I always talk about, right? Because you go through 4 years of schooling, and then by the time you get out, the stuff that you learn is already outdated. This is why people struggle getting out of college to find jobs, because the information that they've learned throughout their 4 years is already outdated, and there's new information to be learned. And then it's hard to get that job because they say you don't have the experience. So like, what are you supposed to do, right? How do you get the experience if you're not going to hire me? So it's just a mind trap, and this is why it's always important to focus on skills that's going to help command the wage that you want. So acquiring skills is one of those things when it comes to personal development. The other thing is investment in education, right? And I'm not talking about the 4-year education. What I'm talking about is education in learning, going on YouTube, reading books, right? A lot of people, there's so much information when it comes to books, right? Read a book. Watch videos. Keep doing that, because there's so much information. Like there's so much, the stuff that they teach you in college, it just doesn't prepare you for what's really out there in this world. You have to find it in books. You have to do your research. You really have to dig deep when it comes to getting the knowledge, because this is how you're going to learn what's trending, what's important, where the demand is, right? You should be always learning, constantly learning, whether it's reading books, seminars, whatever it is, whatever you can get the information, talking to people. This is how you do it. So you have to continuously learn and make sure you're up to date with what's going on. All right. The second thing is entrepreneurship and side hustle, right? Now, this is what I like to do. This is something for me. Like entrepreneurship is very important to me because I like being able to dictate my income, right? I've always been someone that's been like to, when it comes to control, I like to be able to dictate my income outside of the 9-to-5 job. So regardless if you're someone that works a 9-to-5, that's cool. But if you're someone that's looking to get, outside of the whole 9-to-5, hustle, then entrepreneurship is something you should be doing, or at the very least starting a side hustle. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, the way it works is like, to be successful, you have to identify opportunities, right? It shouldn't be about the money. You should be your main thing should be figuring out how to help people, right? Because for a lot of people, they get into entrepreneurship because they want to make money, and that's not a bad thing. But if that's your objective, your only objective, then you're gonna miss it, right? Because what you should be doing is you should be figuring out how to solve problems, right? You should be trying to help people. Like, where is the need? Like, where is the need that people? What is the problem that a lot of people are having, and where is the solution that you can provide? And once you do that, you start focusing on the needs of people that need help. Then eventually the money comes after that, right? Also, starting a business, freelancing. These are things that you should always be looking to do as an entrepreneur, like starting businesses, because there's just so many benefits. Like I said, you can control your time. You can dictate how much income, right? There's no ceiling to how much money you can make, depending on what kind of strategies and ideas that you have when it comes to solving problems. So these are things that I like, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. Now, the third thing is financial literacy, right? And investing, right? You need, instead of becoming a consumer, you have to be a producer, right? You have to stop consuming, right? Purchasing. You have to start being a producer, right? You have to be a person that's, instead of buying all these items, you should be buying the businesses, right? Stocks, investing in real estate, buying assets that's going to generate your income. And these are the things that's going to help you increase your means, right? And you have to understand like different investment vehicles, whether it's you're investing in stocks, real estate, businesses. These are things that you have to learn, educate yourself on, and really develop that financial literacy so you can understand that you have to purchase assets over liabilities, and figure out how to generate passive income, right? And this is where a lot of people want to do. They want to get to a point where they can, where they're not working so hard for their money, where their money is working hard for them. And these are the ways that you do it. And you have to get to a point where you position yourself in it. But if you're someone that's just going to rely on your job to do this, it's going to be difficult. Or because, like I said, you're capped, right? Your salary is capped, you're capped, and you have to wait every year for a 3% increase if you get that raise, right? And who wants to live like that? And inflation is going the way it's going. Like, prices, things are costing more. Like, everything is increasing, and you have to find ways to increase your means, right? Increase your income instead of just like waiting on, living that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, hoping things get better. You have to start taking action and make more money. And like I said, it's not going to be easy, right? It's like doing these things, like I said, as personal development, entrepreneurship, financial literacy. These are the things that I'm talking about. And it's not going to be easy. Like, everybody's journey is different, right? Like, I'd be lying to you if there weren't obstacles. You're going to fail a lot, right? You have to get used to failing. Like, there's so many different businesses and things that I've done where, things didn't work out. And you have to have a resiliency to be like, all right, this didn't work out. Okay, how can I adjust? And be like, all right, what did I learn from this experience? How can I improve? How can I do better? How can I make sure I don't make that same mistake I made last time? And what do I need to do going forward? And you're going to try so many different things, but you have to have that mindset that you can get it done, right? It's your beliefs dictate your actions. If you believe that you can build wealth and make the kind of money that that's life changing, then you will. If you don't, then you won't. Right. So these are the type of things that you really have to really like ask yourself the question, like, all right, what am I doing this for? Like, how can I accomplish it? How can I accomplish it? Right. Don't say I can't, because once you say I can't, then it shuts the brain off. Right. So you want to start asking, like, all right, how can I, how can I increase the income to a level where I'm comfortable? Right? Where I don't have to stress about money. I don't have to stress about buying the things that I want, right? At the same time, making sure that I keep my expenses low, so I'm not worried about, making sure that I can pay the next month's bill, right? No one wants that stress, right? It's not a stress that anybody wants to deal with. It's not a comfortable way to live, right? And you see it all over the place, that how many people are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, talking about how much they hate working a 9-to-5 job, right? But obviously we need to work in order to pay our bills, to eat. We need to do these things, but do we have to do it the way we've been scripted to do it, right? Working the 9-to-5 job. And if you work the 9-to-5, that's cool. Anyways, that's fine. But you need to understand that, is your job getting you the things that you want, right? Are you able to get ahead, right? Do you want more? Right? Do you want to be able to have time spend time with friends and family, go on vacations and do the things that you want that's gonna bring fulfillment? So you have to, as you ask yourself these questions, then you got to ask, okay, how can I attain these things, right? And once you start asking yourself that question, how, then your brain will start figuring out solutions, and then you just got to start taking action, and take a lot of action, because you're gonna fail a lot. right? But in order to increase that probability of success, you have to take action, right? So yeah, those are my thoughts on this. Because like I said, man, like, everyone talks about, the fact that we all have to live within our means, and you do. You should be living within your means, but not a lot of people talk about also at the same time focusing on increasing it. Like I said, income being that thing, that big thing. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you got any comments or questions, make sure to leave it down below. Hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. Right, so you guys take care. Have a good one. Later.